All right, Director, can you still hear us up there in Carson?
We can. We can.
Okay, well, good morning and welcome everyone. It is 9:30 here on Monday, December 8th. We will call to order this Board of Directors meeting of the Nevada Department of Transportation, and we will begin with the roll call.
Right, good morning, Governor Joe Lombardo, Lieutenant Governor Stavros Anthony, Controller Andy Matthews.
Here.
Member Virginia Valentine.
Here.
Member Frank Lepre.
Here.
And Member Justin Kalb.
Here.
Member Gary Perea. Controller, you have a quorum.
Thank you. And I'll just say at the outset here that while we may be light in attendance this morning, we're certainly making up for it in style. So thank you to whoever provided these Mario themed hats for us. We will go to agenda item number 2, public comment. Public comment may be provided in person or by calling 775-888-7440. The caller will be placed in a queue and will be notified when it is his or her turn for comment. This first public comment section is limited to comments on items on the agenda. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under public comment period unless the matter itself has been specifically included on the agenda as an action item, and the chair will impose a time limit of 3 minutes. We'll start in Carson City. Director, do we have any comment in the north?
We do not.
Thank you. Do we have anyone wishing to offer public comment here in Las Vegas? Seeing no one approach the podium, do we have anybody wishing to offer public comment online?
We do not. All right, I'll jump right into the director's report.
Yes, please, Director, go ahead. We'll close item number 2 and open item number 3, the director's report. Go ahead, Director.
All right. Well, here we are for the last meeting of 2025. So on November 17th to the 21st, it was Crash Responder Safety Week. Traffic incidents are the primary cause of death for police officers and emergency medical responders nationwide. So we joined with Nevada State Police and other first response agencies to host media events to remind drivers of Nevada's Move Over law and hosted Touch a Truck school events across the state. Since 2008, NDOT and Nevada State Police have brought together local first responders as well as private towing and hazardous materials responders to train together. We call them TIM, or Traffic Incident Management Coalitions, and they improve road incident response and roadway safety while reducing travel delays and keeping first responders safe. 82% of Nevada's first responders have participated in the Nevada Traffic Incident Report. So on the next slide, this is a brief update on the 2026-2030 Strategic Highway Safety Plan. The Chief of Traffic Safety, Lacey Tisner, presented this in detail on the August 14th, 2025 board meeting. The Strategic Highway Safety Plan, or SHSP, is a requirement of the Core Federal Aid Highway Safety Improvement Program. The HSSP follows Safe Systems approach and is focused on collaboration with all of Nevada's safety partners, government and research at all levels, tribal partnerships, public safety, elected officials, advocates, the public and public health, and more. The plan document will be routed for signatures this week and per United States Code must be signed by the Nevada's governor and the administration of Nevada's Federal Highway Administration. Any interested parties are welcome to reach out to NDOT's Traffic Safety Engineer team to learn more. It was just an update letting you know that it is progressing and being routed over to the governors for signature. On the next slide, this is kind of a fun thing. NDOT received an award for our public outreach activities. We are part of community events across the state to provide transportation information and resources. Our graphic artists created very cost-effective magnets and stickers with transportation in Nevada specific messages. Some of pedestrian and bicycling for kids, and others recreate covers from the historic Nevada highways and park magazines. These magnets have been an absolute favorite for kids and adults alike. And because they're printed in-house, they are flexible and fast, and we reduce costs from $1.30 per item down to 6 cents per item, so very cost effective. This budget-conscious approach earned our graphics team a multimedia award from the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials. So congratulations to our media team. The next slide, we'd also like to recognize our Deputy Director of Planning and Administration, Sandra Rosenberg, for winning AASHTO's President Award of Merit this year. She's seen here with recently retired AASHTO President Garrett Eucalito, and specifically the award was for her advocacy for protecting Nevada, but at all the states as we move through reauthorization and changing policies. Sandra has played an active role in AASHTO's planning and policy committees as appointed as the vice chair of the Transportation Policy Forum in 2023. And I'm just going to really at a national level, this is a really big deal to be recognized by the 50 states and more specifically the president of AASHTO for her work. So Sandra's national planning and policy leadership does play a critical role towards advancing safety, mobility, and quality of life through transportation. So congratulations, Sandra. And next we have a new roundabout. In early November, we completed major construction of a traffic roundabout on Lamoille Highway at the Boyd Kennedy Road in Spring Creek, just outside of Elko. The project included crosswalks to multi-use path along the north side of the highway, turn lanes for designated turns into 2 side streets, including the entrance to Spring Creek High School. We also landscaped the middle of the roundabout, and there are 3 schools neighboring the highway in this area, as well as increasing traffic and potential future development safety. And it's proven nationally the roundabouts do reduce crashes by up to 80%. So one more job finished. And next, the I-80 Golconda truck climbing lanes. We just wrapped up this project on I-80 for climbing lanes and truck parking, just I-80 east of Winnemucca. The lanes have been open since August, but over the past few months, we completed the parking lots and the electrical work. Almost half of the traffic on this section of I-80 is large truck, 45%. And so we installed approximately 3 miles of truck climbing lanes on both directions of I-80 near Golconda Summit and truck parking on both sides of the interstate at Golconda Summit, adding almost 50 total new parking for trucks. It also comes with a new restroom and trash facilities. And we also did some geometric changes to the interchange and the bridge structure just for the better mobility turning movements for the freight vehicles. So that was done. And next on the revolving account, as requested, the board requested quarterly reports on this, and Felicia Denny, the Assistant Director of Administration, will cover this.
Good morning. Good morning, Felicia Denny, Assistant Director of Administration with NDOT. As you'll recall, this is a statutory account that was set up for NDOT as an alternative payment methodology for prompt payments, travel advances, and crew subsistence payments, and also travel reimbursements, and that all transactions that we do conform to all state laws, budgets, policies, regulations. And we want to thank the board for the temporary increase that they provided to allow us to make timely payments during the new system implementation. We've listed the payments that were made in July, August, and September, and you may notice that September looks a little small, and that is due to the statewide cyber incident. The account was not able to be used during that time, with the exception of 2 manual checks that we did to test the system functionality before resuming normal operations. So that September does stand out a little bit. We'll continue to monitor the account and report quarterly for 3 months past our implementation date for the new system for NDOT's phase 1, and that implementation date has passed. That was October 20th. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Denny from any board members? All right. Not hearing any. Director, you may continue.
All right, thank you. On the next one, we'd like to welcome the new District 3 engineer, Robert Thron. He is the District 3 engineer covers the Elko, Winnemucca, and Ely areas. He began as an NDOT highway construction aide in the materials division in 1993 and then worked on construction crews until 2001 when he left the department to go get his bachelor's degree in engineering. Rob returned to NDOT in 2016 and worked up the ranks to become resident engineer overseeing projects like the replacement of I-80 bridges in northeastern Nevada. He most recently was the assistant district engineer in Ely. He will oversee maintenance operations and construction activities for all of northeastern Nevada. So congratulations, Rob, and welcome back. And last, for fun, kind of, the Capitol Christmas tree. For 55 years, a tree from America's public land has journeyed to Washington, D.C. to be displayed at the U.S. Capitol as the People's Christmas Tree. And this year, the Capitol Christmas Tree, as we named it the Silver Bell, came from a national forest at Lake Tahoe here in Nevada. NDOT was there to help when the tree was harvested and traveled down Mount Rose on the weekend of October 25th. And I got to tell you, those are some tight turns, and that was a big tree to get around those turns. So the NDOT team was also there as we made whistle stops across the state on the way to the nation's capital. So that concludes my report. Any questions?
Thank you, Director. Do we have any questions from any board members about the director's report? I don't know if Go ahead, Director. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's a beautiful tree, by the way.
I was going to ask, do you have video of it coming down the hill there? I'd love to see that if you guys were able to get any of that.
I do think they did take some pictures and on there, so we'll send it to you.
Very good. Very good. I don't know if Ms. Rosenberg is in the room with you, but I did want to just echo what you said and extend my congratulations to her and also to, oh, there she is. Congratulations. Good to see you. And welcome back, Mr. Thron. And yes, congratulations also to the whole team on that multimedia award. That's very exciting. All right, we will close agenda item number 3, and we will open agenda item number 4, consideration of approval of the October 13th, 2025 meeting minutes. Do we have any questions or comments on the minutes? Hearing none, I will take a motion for approval.
This is Member Kalb. I move to approve the meeting minutes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second by Member Lepre.
Okay, we have a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, the motion is approved. Thank you. We will close agenda item number 4. Next on the agenda would ordinarily be the consent agenda. It's my understanding that we have no items on the consent agenda today. And so I believe we would just move on past section 2. Is that correct, Director?
That is correct. We will move on to section 4.
Okay, because that's obviously we'll skip section 3 as well. Okay, agenda item number 5, we will receive the Department of Transportation's 2025 Performance Management Report, and this is an item for possible action. So, Director, I understand we've got someone to present that report.
Yes, Mark Brewster will be presenting for NDOT today.
Good morning, members of the board. Mark Wooster for the record, NDOT Chief Performance Analysis Engineer. I'll be presenting the Performance Management Report for 2025. This report is for your consideration, and after this meeting, to be transmitted to the governor's office to the legislature as required by NRS. The easiest way to follow along with this presentation, if you have the report in front of you, would be to go to page 12 where the executive summaries start. There's just one executive summary for performance measure, and that would make it easiest to follow along. There's 16 performance measures in this report, and some of them are internal regarding NDOT's operations, and some of them are external statewide. Starting off with performance measure number 1, reducing workplace accidents within NDOT. Our serious injury rate decreased slightly for this year, but not up to our flat 1% reduction that we target for every year. So we'll continue to work on that. Performance measure number 2 on page 13, providing employee training. We've consolidated our gains and held steady at 90% compliance with our required training, similar to last year, which represented a big increase over fiscal year 23. So that's positive. Moving on to page 14, performance measure number 3, employee satisfaction. We are also conserving resources by conducting the employee satisfaction survey every other year. So our most recent information is the 61% employee satisfaction from 2024. Our vacancy rate is down and remaining lower around 14%. So that's a positive indicator of satisfaction as well. Moving on to performance measure number 4, getting into the external focus with agreements and how fast NDOT can execute agreements and process them. Our goal was not quite met this year. We had increased the goal in 2022. Our old goal was 20 days, and we had tightened that up to 10 days. Our average time to execute an agreement was 7 days. We had 87.8% of agreements processed within 10 days this year, as opposed to the goal of 90%. So we were right there next to the goal, and we'll keep working on that. Performance measure number 5. On page 16, improving customer and public outreach. Our annual customer satisfaction went up just 1%, as per the Zendesk surveys that people who call the department are asked if they wish to take. The social media growth on Facebook, our audience growth did not quite meet our 10% target, but we exceeded our growth goal on Instagram, and our video views have increased significantly on top of previous increases in video views. So that we're reaching a lot of people. In terms of public involvement, our number of events decreased this year simply due to the number of projects and the nature of projects going out. One of the meetings this year was in Gabbs, Nevada, so as a result of those demographics, that would be lower attendance even for a very good meeting. Moving on to performance measure number 6, traffic operations, travel time and reliability. The interstate travel time reliability dipped just the tiniest bit, but the non-interstate national highway system travel time reliability increased to a greater degree. The interstate truck travel time reliability continues to face challenges when the interstates pass through the urban areas, although other areas of the state are all meeting the goal. Peak hours of excessive delay per capita in Las Vegas decreased substantially, so that's a positive indicator. It did tick upwards in Reno. Moving on to performance measure number 7. Construction, from bidding to construction completion, we met our budget and working days goals. We did not quite meet our change order goal. We had increased this to 6% change orders as compared to contract value. However, it was relatively constant. Last year and previous years, the goal was 3%, so that would have been a 67% versus this year we achieved 70% for a very slight difference. We had a number of contracts that were just over 6% or 7%, but not a lot in that 3 to 6% range. Performance measure number 8, maintaining state highway pavement. Similar to last year, we met our goals for road categories 1, 2, and 3. We actually, increased the percentage of pavement in good condition on categories 1, 2, and 4. However, simply due to a lack of financial resources, we were not able to meet our goals on road categories 4 and 5. So we had to prioritize there and do what we could with what we have. Performance measure number 9, maintaining the NDOT fleet. So the percentage of fleet meeting the maintenance requirements increased by almost 1% this year, just short of our goal, and that's definitely heading in the right direction. The percentage of fleet requiring replacement just inched up just a tiny bit this year. We have vehicles that we've ordered but that are not in yet, and that would affect this metric as well. For performance measure number 10, maintaining NDOT facilities, we have an ongoing facilities condition assessment. In 2026, that assessment will be complete and we'll have more updated data. We did complete some critical projects this year, but didn't move the needle a whole lot towards that 100% perfect facilities goal. Performance measure number 11, emergency management, security, and continuity of operations. We met our goals here in terms of all of our training and updates are being completed and on track with our emergency operations plan, our physical security plan. Performance measure number 12, reducing fatal and serious injury crashes. We met one of our targets in terms of fatalities per 100 million vehicle miles traveled. However, we did not meet the other 4 targets. In terms of non-motorist fatalities and serious injuries, those increased in 2024. It looks like the fatalities will be down year over year, but we use a 5-year rolling average as well. So 4 out of 5 targets not met. For performance measure number 13, this concerns project delivery, scheduling and estimating for bid advertisement. And you can see the percentage of projects completed on schedule did increase. We had 10 projects that were in the baseline that were delivered, and then one additional project that was delivered that was not in the baseline plan. And as far as our estimating, construction costs seem to have plateaued a fair bit. And using historical data, our estimates were actually a little bit higher this time, whereas the last year, maybe they were a little lower. So we're dialing that in as well on the estimating side. Performance measure number 14, maintaining the state bridges, the targets were met. So definitely tip of the hat to all the bridge folks and everyone who helped with that. Performance measure 15 also met targets for streamlining the permitting process. 95.9% of all permits processed were completed within 45 days or less. And lastly, for performance measure 16, greenhouse gas reduction, we had a 0.9% increase compared to fiscal year 2024. However, we're still well below the baseline of 2019 fiscal year. The increase that we saw this year is attributed to staff commuting and increased electricity consumption. That concludes my report. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Wooster. Do we have any questions for Mr. Wooster from any board members? All right, hearing none. As noted earlier, NRS requires the approval from the board to transmit this report to the governor and to the Nevada legislature. I will take a motion to approve.
This is Member Kalb. I move to approve the 2025 performance management report.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
This is Member Lepre. I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, say nay. All right, the motion is approved. Thank you very much. We will close agenda item number 5, and we will go to agenda item number 6. This is a presentation on the progressive design build. Director, whenever you're ready.
The presentation will be done by Nick Johnson, the Chief of Project Management. And I also want to be clear, this is the presentation is on the process. It is not specific to the I-80 project. We will be coming back when we're awarding that for specifics on that, but this will go over the process.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning, board members. For the record, Nick Johnson, NDOT Project Management. And this morning, I'm going to give you a brief presentation about NDOT's alternative delivery program. And we're going to focus on progressive design build, which is a newer alternative delivery that we're seeing more and more across the country with other state DOTs. So to kind of jump in, a little background on our program itself. When I say alternative delivery, I'm talking about everything or any contracting method that is not the traditional design bid build or low bid method. Under the alternative delivery, you can see there's about 5 that we can use here at the department. The first 2, design build and construction manager at risk, are our primary alternative delivery methods that we've used over the years. And we've been doing it for about almost 20 years now. We awarded our first design build contract back in 2007 and our first CMAR contract in 2012. And combined, they total about $2.2 billion worth of improvements. So we don't use them often, but when we do, they're on large, complex projects. We also have the ability to do public-private partnerships, and it's limited to Clark County, which we haven't done to date. And we can also receive unsolicited proposals. And these are pretty rare, but the handful that I've seen come in over the years usually involve some sort of design build, CMAR, or a public-private partnership. And then the last bullet on here, which we're going to focus on today, is progressive design build. SB 315 was passed this past legislative session that allowed the department to use this method on the I-80 East project only. But before I get to progressive design build, I think it's important to understand some of the distinct differences between design build and construction manager at risk, because there's a lot of similarities with both of these in the progressive design build process. Now, there's a lot of information on the slide. I'm not going to go through all of it, but I'm going to focus on 2 that are really relevant to the conversation. And the first one has to do with how we handle risk and the cost of risk. And so with construction manager at risk, we're able to bring that contractor on during the pre-construction or the design phase and work together as a team to identify, analyze, figure out solutions to eliminate or mitigate those risks that help drive the cost down and improve, the constructability and even the schedule. And for the risks that we identify that we can't necessarily mitigate completely, we price those risks and we take the price of the risk out of the contractor's GMP and put it into what we call a risk reserve in the construction contract. Or in other words, it's a force account so that if those risks are realized during construction, we have a mechanism to pay the contractor for it. But more importantly, if it doesn't happen, the department keeps that funding and budget. And it's not something that's lost in the bid itself. On design build, the prices for construction come in at the time the proposals are submitted right after the procurement. And in design build, all that risk is transferred to the design builder. Now, two issues that have come with this process, one being that the cost of risk over the past few design build procurements has really driven up the cost of those bids to the extent that we've either had to go find additional funding to award the design build contract or cancel the procurements altogether, limiting our use of this. The other challenge, and these challenges here, I mean, we're seeing them across the nation as well, is that some contractors are less willing to take on this risk profile and put in on design build. And this is important here in Nevada because our statutes require that we have to have a minimum of 3 qualified proposers to move forward with a design build RFP, further eliminating our ability to use, this delivery method in the future. Now, with all that being said, one of the great things about design build and the last bullet under design build is faster project delivery. Oftentimes when we think of alternative delivery, we're thinking about innovative construction means and methods, that accelerate the construction and so on and so forth. But for us at the department, we got to keep in mind the overall lifespan of a big project, including how do we get through NEPA and the property acquisitions, utilities, and design and construction. And so design build is the only delivery method under the CFRs or federal laws that allow us to get authorization to overlap these major phases of the project. So we can be starting our procurement while we're finishing NEPA, while we're designing, constructing, and acquiring property all at the same time. And in many cases, we've been able to shave years off the overall life of a major project using design build. Some great examples are Project Neon and the Tropicana Interchange. So this has been a very valuable tool for us to really move forward efficiently major projects. So now I'll jump into progressive design build. And probably the simplest way to explain this is taking the combination of some of those good processes in CMAR and design build and combining them into one, into 2 distinct phases and actually 2 separate contracts. The first phase is pre-construction, and that's with a pre-construction services agreement only. So we're not signing up for construction just yet. And assuming everything goes well and we get to a point where we agree on prices, we enter into a design build contract for that phase 2 construction. So a little bit about how the pre-construction works. It's very, very similar to the CMAR process. And it all starts with qualifications-based selection procurement, which is much more streamlined than design build and much, much faster, and we can get through in a couple of months. It does not include any construction pricing, but focuses on qualifications. And once we've selected a progressive design build team, and I'll say that the organization of that team is much like a design builder where we're entering into a pre-construction services agreement with a contractor as a prime, and they bring their own engineer. But then we do a lot of the same things we do during CMAR. We're designing the project together. We're looking at pricing, constructability, optimizing the scope, but most importantly, we go through the same risk analysis that we do on a CMAR process with helping to reduce the risk and pull the risk out of the guaranteed maximum price and put into the contract. Now, the one thing that is different is this last bullet here that says opportunities for off-ramps, and no pun intended there. But basically what this is at any given point in time in that pre-construction service process, for whatever reason, the department and the progressive design builder can't agree on a price, or maybe the terms and conditions of the design build contract, or for whatever reason whatsoever, we have the opportunity to step away and terminate that pre-construction services agreement, retain the engineer under a new agreement, up the design, and put it out to bid just like we would a traditional design bid build method. Now, our goal is never to or hopefully never have to utilize this, but at least these backstops are in place. So if things don't work out, we can still progress the project forward. And a little bit more on pre-construction. So I talked about hiring a progressive design builder. The other thing that we do is we also procure and hire an independent cost estimator. And as we work through this process at different milestones, we have our contractor go and price the project, at that current state of design, and we have the independent cost estimator do the same thing separately. And then once those prices are in, we bring the whole team back together in a transparent, open book estimating workshop, and we look at the differences, and we talk about how we can get those prices closer together, and that can be looking at risk, design changes, means and methods, all sort of things. But our goal is to eventually get those prices closer and closer together to where we can come to an agreement with our progressive design build team on a fair market price for a guaranteed maximum price project. And then once we get to that point and agree on that GMP, our next step is to conform the design build contract and bring it to the board for approval. And assuming that the board approves that design build contract, at that point, for all intents and purposes, it's a design build project moving forward. So that was a lot of information I just gave everybody. So I tried to summarize on this slide here some of the similarities between CMAR and design build with progressive design build. So CMAR, the qualifications-based selection, very quick. It's a two-agreement or two-phased approach. And then during pre-construction, we still get that team collaboration, innovation, and most importantly, that risk analysis and pricing and open book estimating that we do with CMAR. And like design build, they're bringing their own engineer as part of their team. The second phase is a design build contract. And the one I left off here is that progressive design build is currently working under the design build CFRs and federal laws. So as a department, we still get that advantage of overlapping some of those major phases and hopefully expediting some of these large complex projects. And so this slide here is just kind of a graphical representation of the process as a whole, comparing against our traditional design bid build, CMAR, and design build. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this, but you can see some of this, taking some of the pieces of CMAR and design build and putting it into that bottom progressive design build process. So hopefully we can gain the efficiencies delivering these projects. And my last slide here, just a quick update on the I-80E's progressive design build procurement. As I mentioned, SB 315 passed and signed into law in June. We immediately released an RFP in July. We received 4 proposals in September. And then in mid-October, we announced the notice of intent to award to Granite Construction. We are currently underway with negotiations with Granite for the pre-construction services agreement, and our goal is to bring that agreement to the board either in January or February. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Appreciate the presentation. Board members, do we have any questions? All right, hearing none, thank you again for that very thorough presentation. Appreciate it. As that was an informational item only, we will close agenda item number 6. We will move to agenda item number 7, contracts, agreements, and settlements, which is also an informational item only. Board members, do we have any questions on agenda item number 7? Director, anything from you on this agenda item?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. We will close agenda item number 7. We will go to agenda item number 8, our second opportunity for public comment. This public comment period is devoted to comments by the general public about matters relevant to the board's jurisdiction. No vote may be taken on a matter not listed on the posted agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. And if you wish to provide public comment, we just ask that you please clearly state your name and spell it for the record. We will go to Carson City first. Any comment in the north?
There's no comment in the room.
Okay, thank you. I believe we've got some public comment here in Las Vegas. Sir, whenever you're ready.
Hello, my name is Al Rojas. I live in Sunrise Manor, a part of Clark County. I'm part of a neighborhood watch program that we started with 8,000 people, primarily in Sunrise Manor. And I wanted to give a report as how well we're doing with the homeless problem on the freeways and some recommendations to bring down some of the fatalities on Lake Mead Boulevard. There was a bill that was presented in the last legislative session, Bill AB 236, which allowed the county services to work with state services and NDOT on homelessness on freeways. I'm happy to report that I've personally, with me and my group, we removed 45 encampments and removed RVs from the streets, and we have had no reports of homelessness living in that freeway area where we had to trespass somebody out of county property. They would just hop over to the state's NDOT's jurisdiction, and we couldn't touch them. But now that's really come down. So you may want to put that on your social media. I saw that. It said something about social media. You're not getting enough responses. If you guys are doing joint cleanups, I would recommend putting that. The community is responds very positively to encampment cleanups, and they take notice of people who are doing cleanups. The other thing is I went to the NVAC's, Nevada Acts, where we had the zero fatalities meeting, and they reported that the majority of the fatalities are at intersections. And we're seeing that over on Lake Mead Boulevard. The speed limit is 45 miles per hour, and the statistics show that if you get hit by a car going 45 miles per hour, your odds of survival are less than 5%. And with the density that is growing there, we're pretty much landlocked, even if you talk to the commissioners. I really do recommend that we bring that speed limit down to 35 miles per hour. That is in your jurisdiction of NDOT. I confirmed that the previous meeting that I came, which was about 6 months ago. And we also would like to have some kind of a program where you can adopt a highway and monitor it and maybe keep an eye on it. We wanted to put some of those speed signs. We know that those solar speed signs, which are a lot cheaper now due to technology, are very cheap, and they monitor the speed. And maybe some of what we've started a group now for our community where we're monitoring the speed on some of the other high area traffic zones, which are unfortunately not NDOT, but we would like to get that program going on Lake Mead Boulevard as well. But generally speaking, I want to thank the board for having us give an opinion now, let us know what's going on, how you guys are doing well, and we want to thank the governor and congratulate him on his crime bill, which has that DUI clause, which is that's going to make it hopefully bring some of these fatalities down. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rojas. Anyone else here in the South wishing to offer public comment? Do we have anyone over the phones?
We have two.
Okay.
Caller. Welcome caller number 9944. And it looks like the next caller is caller number 1923.
Do we know if we're having technical difficulties or if the callers have just dropped off?
I think they're online. Again, if you are phone number ending 1923, please make your public comment. Okay, we'll try another one. Caller, phone number ending 9944, please make your public comment.
Hello?
Go ahead, please.
Yes. My name is Meredith Keast. It's MEREDYTHKEAST. And I am a concerned homeowner, and I live in Dayton off of Fort Churchill. And I am very concerned about the number of accidents and fatalities. And I would like the speed limit reduced to 45 throughout Dayton, and we need a traffic light, or at least one at Fort Churchill. We're on the 50, facing the 50, and at Maverick, where the Maverick is. I see children being driven to school, either into my neighborhood or they have to go to another school across, and it's very, very dangerous to especially making left-hand turns and trying to turn into the traffic. And so I would like, please, to have that speed limit reduced. I know we've been asking for a while now, and hoping you can do something about it very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Keast. Did we ever get that second caller back? Do we know?
Controller, no, we can call again. It's 1923. Caller and phone number ending 1923. Please make your public comment. Controller, they're not in the meeting anymore.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, with that, we will close agenda item number 8 and move on to agenda item number 9, adjournment. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Member Calb, I move to adjourn.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Member Valentine, I'll second.
All right, all those all those approving say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. All right, thank you. We are adjourned.
I would like to wish you guys all a happy holidays too. Enjoy it.
Thank you, Director. You as well.